So good evening, Lake County community. We're glad to have you here with us tonight on both Facebook and Zoom. We did this the first time on Monday night, and all total, we had more than 20,000 views. So we hope to get great information out to you again tonight. We have a much broader cast of folks that are here to speak tonight, and I'll give you a lot of detailed resource information. We're excited to be here, and we're glad to have you. So I'm going to start by introducing our speakers this evening. They're all going to be brief because we want to get to your questions as soon as we possibly can. So our first speaker this evening will be our Sheriff and OES Director, Brian Martin. Senator Mike McGuire will go next. Congressman Mike Thompson will be our third speaker, followed by Assemblymember Aguiar Curry. Then Congressman John Garamendi, happy to have him here. And then, of course, the CAL FIRE team will be talking extensively about the status of the blazes going on in Lake County. In addition to these folks, we also have many members of our emergency operations team here and our partners in disaster response. And so we should be able to answer just about any question you may come up with. And I neglected to introduce our Board of Supervisors Chair, Moke Simon. He's with us too, and he will wrap it up for us this evening. We plan to go no later than 7:30 p.m. tonight, so we'll get to as many questions as we can. I do know that a few of our elected representatives must leave us a little early to move on to similar things that are happening in other counties also impacted by fire. So again, a warm welcome to you all. And we'll get started with Sheriff Martin. You're on mute, Sheriff Martin.
There we are. Thank you for the tremendous introduction. So as I speak with you tonight, we have approximately 7,000 people, 7,000 Lake County residents that have experienced a pretty long-term displacement, some of them being on their 9th and 10th day evacuated from their homes. And for a lot of those, this is also not the first time that they've been subject to these evacuations. So we're really mindful of that. The incident management team, Incident Commander Sean Cavan, I've worked with him on several fires. His teams have done some amazing, remarkable work, and we've been able to keep the fires largely outside of our populated areas and keep people's homes safe here in Lake County. He's joined by firefighters not only from all over California, but all over the western states. This has been a very trying time for many people in the southern portion of the county, and I know that we all remember that a lot of these people are the same people that faced devastating losses as a consequence of the Valley Fire just 5 years ago. It seems like yesterday. To those people, I want you to know that what you've endured is not okay. I thank you for your amazing patience and cooperation as we work through yet another disaster. I also want to recognize that there have been many people working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that people in need of shelter, people that need help with their animals, people in the ag business, and some that just need a little information to get a better sense of what's going on, get what they need. There's been hundreds of people hard at work making sure that happens. Thank you for showing great strength, great kindness to each other in the face of this disaster. This is our 12th disaster in 5 years. I'm proud to serve this county. I'm proud of this county, and I'm proud of the strength that so many of you show on a daily basis. I'm also proud and humbled by the courage and resilience of not only our law enforcement officers and firefighters, but all the other county staff, volunteers, and community members that have stepped up to meet another moment of challenge. Anything we're able to accomplish in local government is a result of the fact that we have a team of deeply caring people who are committed to serving the residents of Lake County. I'm proud and I'm grateful to share this forum tonight with our other elected representatives that know what Lake County's needs are, and they're committed to helping us into a better tomorrow. We're all going to do our part. We're all going to work together. We're going to bring out the best in each other, and there's going to be better days. And I know that's true, and I can't wait to be a part of it with all of you. Thank you for this opportunity to reach out and speak with you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. And so next up, I'd like to introduce Senator Mike McGuire, one of our greatest advocates for sure.
Madam County Administrator, thank you so much. Supervisor Simon, thank you for having me. I want to take a moment to be able to acknowledge Sheriff Martin. You have one of the hardest working sheriffs in the state of California. It's so grateful to be able to work with him and the men and women of the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Just want to say how grateful we are for their service. And of course, to all the firefighters in Lake County and from throughout the West in the state who have been responding to this devastating blaze. We're grateful. Congressman Thompson, Assemblywoman Aguiar Curry, good evening. And so honored to be able to work with both of you as well. The bottom line on the Hennessy Fire that is the Hennessy Fire has been incredibly stubborn. There is no expense. I want to assure you, there is no expense being spared by the state of California to be able to fight these historic wildland fires that have been impacting Lake, Napa, Sonoma counties, and it is of great concern. That is why we've reached deep into the federal mutual aid system to be able to bring in firefighters from across the West to be able to assist us. In addition, mobilizing National Guard members from across California as well as in Western states to be able to assist us in taming these fires that have been so devastating. The highest priority, as you all know right now, when it comes to the Hennessy Fire, is ensuring that that fire stays out of Middletown as well as Hidden Valley Lake. And that priority continues to through today and will be into the future. And we'll hear more from the hardworking folks from CAL FIRE. Let's be honest. Another fire is the last thing that this county needs. No other county in the state of California has been hit as hard as Lake County has by wildland fires. And we're grateful to the local firefighters who have been busy breaking their backs to be able to keep these fires out of the communities that we all love. We want to say thank you to the firefighters who have responded throughout the state and the West to be able to assist us in this fire fight. I'll finally say this. If there is a need to be able to mobilize any services from the State Office of Emergency Services for any type of debris cleanup, please know that the state is here now. We're going to be here with you in the weeks to come and, of course, in the years to come to make sure that Lake County has the resources they need to be able to recover and rebuild stronger. Thank you again, Madam County Administrator, and I look forward to being with you here through about 6:30. There's another meeting with State OES and the Walbridge Fire in Sonoma County that I'm going to adjourn to.
Thank you so much, Senator. So those of you that know me probably hear me joke about the fact that I've been working for Lake County since the dawn of time, almost. And I'm now going to introduce a guy that's been supporting Lake County even longer. Longtime Congressman Mike Thompson. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Well, Carol, thank you very much, and thank you for your service. Thank you to everyone who's on this Zoom and those who are out on the front line. What an incredible community. Sheriff Martin, I hadn't really taken the time to do the math, but 12 disasters in 5 years. It seems like 1,200 in the last 5 years, but when you put a number like that on it, it really brings it home. And Mike McGuire, Senator McGuire, you're absolutely correct. It's an incredible county made up of wonderful people who are weathering through this, and it just never fails to impress me how everybody just steps up and gets the job done. So thank you all very much. For anyone who's evacuated, displaced, lost property, my heart goes out to you again. This is not something that we need right now, and on top of another national disaster, and that's COVID-19. I just want to reiterate what our backup, what Mike McGuire said. Nothing's being spared. We're working really hard to make sure everybody gets the resources they need. And I'll just briefly touch on the National Disaster Declaration from Washington, D.C. And this is important in a couple of areas. It provides individual assistance of up to $35,000 for individuals who are harmed by this fire. And those monies can be used for anything from rebuilding or repairing your home, to temporary housing, to counseling, to emergency unemployment benefits. And if anyone is subject to that, they can apply by going to www.disasterassistance.gov, or they can call 1-800-621-3362. And then the other part of that is public assistance. And this is incredibly important for the county and local governments and tribal governments. State, local, and tribal governments are entitled to infrastructure repair funding up to 75% of the cost. It comes with a matching requirement, a 25% matching requirement, but that is available. And know that I introduced legislation this week and I know my colleague John Garamendi is a co-author of that bill, that would bump that ratio to 90-10. That will really help state, local, and tribal governments. The disaster declaration also makes small business administration loans accessible to individuals and to businesses and nonprofits. Business and nonprofits can get up to $2 million and individuals up to $40,000. So if you're interested in that, go to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov, disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. And lastly, I have a fire guide that is available to anyone that will just help you maneuver through the bureaucracy and help people navigate the problems associated with a fire. And you can go to my website and get a copy of that. So again, thank you all very, very much for everything you're doing. And I hate to come together like this, but I can't think of a better team I would rather work with than the team that we have. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mike. We are small but mighty. We appreciate your feedback. And Lake County is so fortunate to have this incredible team of state and federal representatives out there fighting for us on all fronts. And another great example is our incredible Assembly member, Cecilia Aguiar Curry. She's done so much for Lake County in her time representing us. Welcome, Assembly member. You have the floor.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Carol, Brian, and I call them with the first name because we've become quite good friends. Moke, heck with the titles. It's all about friendships. It's how we've networked together for all these years. I want to just first of all acknowledge all of our firefighters, our first responders, our OES, all of you that are here on the call, whether I can see your face or not. I appreciate everything you're doing for the community. The volunteerism always steps up. And again, we will be strong and get through this again. But as a couple of things is I want to assure you that we've already starting to deal with some issues that we didn't know existed. And they're on our to-do list is that I represent 6 counties. Some of the counties didn't get alerts for the fires. And we are just finding out some of the reasons why that happened, whether somebody forgot to opt in, whether it's robocalls. We're finding robocalls may be part of the problem of why some people didn't get alerted. Or did someone put their cell phone away and turn it off and turn it down low and they didn't hear the alert? So we're trying to work on things like that. Hopefully we can get that taken care of going forward and making sure that the community understands that. I want to also just remind you is that, and I've done this on every call that we're on, is that to remind you, we still have the COVID we're dealing with. So make sure you wash your hands, wear a mask, do social distancing. Those are really important times. And it's very difficult for those of us who are trying to help during the fires is to make sure that we don't also spread the COVID-19 virus. So I want you to all remember that as well. And I also wanted to just remind you is that we've seen in my district offices a notice that there's a lot more traffic of people on social media putting out their GoFundMe funds. And so I just want to remind everyone, wherever you put your money or decide to donate, make sure it's a reliable source to do that with, because the last thing we want to do is see people not get the money to the people that really need it. So with that, just make sure that you watch yourself, be safe, check on your neighbors, and we're going to continue to work hard for you. I have 6 counties that have been up in flames, and so I'm not going to lie to you, it's been a tough couple of days. So thank you so much. Sheriff Martin, you are a rock star, and I really appreciate our friendship that we are able to talk on a regular basis. Thank you for the tour out in the area as well, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assembly member. And certainly, last but not least, I am honored to be able to announce the presence of our Congressman, John Garamendi, who is with us tonight. We're so grateful to have you. Thanks for all you do for Lake County. We'd love to hear from you. You are on mute. There you go.
Not any longer. Carol, thank you so very much. Thank you for hosting all of this, Sheriff. Here we are again. Moke, I look at this screen and I'm seeing an awesome team. I'm seeing an awesome team that has really reached out over some very, very difficult years. years of fires, years of economic stress, hardships of all kinds. And of course, the firefighters, the first responders, and all the rest. It's been difficult. It has been really difficult. My good fortune is to work with Mike Thompson at the federal level. I'm not going to repeat everything he talked about. There's little that I'm not sure he missed anything. His website, my website, do have information. Cecilia's, yours does too. I've had a chance to look at it. Mike, I'll make you a promise. I'll take a look at your website. My guess is that we're probably echoing each other's information. But I bet there's one piece of information that's not on the websites. Back in the days of being an insurance commissioner, I learned a few things. Sheriff, the next time you send out a evacuation, there are certain things, the go bag, all of that kind of stuff, make sure you know your gas, cars, gas, all of that. One more thing. Tell people to take a video of everything in their house, inside, outside, closets, everything else. If that house burns, there'll be one big hassle with the insurance companies. But that video on a $300,000-$400,000 house is probably worth $100,000. And it's in the Amazon cloud somewhere. You can always get it. So just one more thing to add. Mike, put that on your website. We have it on ours. There's so many things that are going on. It's tough. It is very, very difficult. There's another thing that I'm just very quickly mention, and that is an issue that we've been trying to get completed in Washington, and that's the HEROES bill. It's specifically labeled the HEROES bill for the folks that are working so hard on this fire. The first responders, the sheriffs, the officers, all of the folks out there that are doing the hard work. I don't know what's going to come of it, but it is extremely important in funding local governments and tribal governments, and of course the state governments. We're going to continue to push for that. I know that the counties, all of the counties that I represent, and Cecilia, have the pleasure to have at least 5 in concert with you and 2 in concert with Mike, but they're hurting. And there are going to be serious layoffs in the months ahead unless we figure out how to get this money to those local governments. There's also a lot of additional programs in that would help restore, rebuild, and put together the areas that have been hit by disasters as well as been hit by the COVID. I'm going to let it go at that. I know that I am delighted to be part of the team whose faces I get to see here and who I get to work with from time to time. So thank you so very much. We're here. We'll continue to be with you always. Carol, thank you.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Now I'd like to introduce the CAL FIRE team. Monday night, we had several folks reporting out to us on different aspects of the fire. And as you can imagine, we're getting lots of questions. Everybody wants to know, what is the situation with the fires? When can we go home? Et cetera, et cetera. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Would you like me to get started?
You bet.
Sounds good. My name is Chris Waters. I'm the Operations Section Chief for the LNU Lightning Complex. Now I'll give you a rundown of today's shift. First thing I want to talk about is the weather. Right now, you've noticed that in the mornings, things are fairly smoky, and in the afternoons, they start to clear up. Right now, we're under a tremendous high pressure, stable air conditions, and actually that's a really good thing for our operation, and that we're not getting a lot of what we call anomalous winds. We're just getting our normal daytime, nighttime wind patterns, and it's given us an opportunity to actually to get ahead of this thing. So about 1,400 hours every day, we're getting a little bit of fire activity increase, and it's actually causing us a few small problems, but nothing we can't get past. I kind of expect this weather pattern to last for 3 or 4 more days. Again, a great opportunity to start getting this thing closed up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the fire specifically, and I'm going to start down in that Oat Hill Road country. It's not in Lake County, but it has direct implications on Lake County. It's the last piece of line that we have to fire, and it's probably a 1/4 mile. Very, very difficult piece of terrain, and you've probably seen the aircraft all day today out of the 7M ranch, and then also the fixed wing air tankers working that area and trying to get that closed off. That's really pretty much it for the direct control line that we're working on up in the hills up above the 7M ranch in Middletown. You see the fire comes down into 7M ranch right behind our helibase. I got dozer line got engines, aircraft, all kinds of other resources that have pretty well secured that country all the way up to the area that's pretty much east of Hidden Valley. And Hidden Valley is where we feel comfortable that Hidden Valley is pretty close to repopulation if it hasn't already started yet, and feel real comfortable that the fire is fairly secure there. Then moving across the north end of the fire, we had some difficulty yesterday. It doesn't directly affect Lake County right now, but the fire did cross Highway 16, and it's up on the Cortina Ridge, which is a difficult place to be. The one good thing is that it's mostly grass and small brush. We got great weather, and that became another complication to our plan. That's not directly in Lake County, but it has implications for Lake County because in the past, traditionally, Highway 20 has actually become one of the control lines. There's very few places to work, extremely tough country. And we're having a real difficult time with that County Road 40 bridge, which comes off of Highway 16 and kind of comes up into Lake County. So continue to work on it. We got 3 days of really good weather. We've got resources kind of directed in that direction. We still have the priority. Number one priority on the fire is that area on Oat Hill. And once we've got that closed off, we'll start to direct our resources and concentrate our resources further east. And that'll conclude my report. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Parks. I'm the operations chief for the local unit. Working closely with the incident command team that's here running the actual incident. What the heck that fancy title means is I'm basically here to support Chief Duncan, Chief Mike Wink, and Chief Jake Hannon as the local chiefs up in the area. I'll be brief. Just letting you know that the statewide drawdown is still an issue for the team. So they're working hard to get enough resources to continue to fight the fire, even though there's several large incidents throughout the state. Chief Kavanaugh will be covering those, but I just want everyone to know that that is a significant concern and a challenge that we aren't used to facing is this being this short of resources. There is a tremendous thanks that our public officials, Thompson and McGuire, for their support in getting the out-of-state resources to us. But nonetheless, there's still just more fire than engines, if you will. The only other piece I want to mention on a local level is just that for those out there that you may not realize is there have been so many fires locally that we have so many people from outside the area who have been here before, in addition to so many of our people who work in this unit, that they feel so much empathy and support for the community that whenever we evacuate an area where a fire is threatening a given community, such as Hidden Valley, they feel that more than you might recognize because they know the area has gone through this so many times. And the pressure to repopulate and support that given area is almost palpable. And we've got some people out there that are probably going, I'm struggling to rein them in because they're working so hard for this given area that they're putting a little extra hours and a little extra effort in because of their support for this area and knowing how many times they have gone through this. So the support is there more than you might realize from people not only in the community but outside of it. So I was very, very amazed at how many people I've talked to that have said, this poor community has gone through this enough times. What can we do to get them back home? And we almost have to slow them down a little bit to make sure that we don't evacuate them twice and we button everything up the first time. But the support is out there, and I really want to thank everyone for their support for us. It's easy on our end, but we feel our hearts are with the community. And according to Chief Waters, if we're getting people back into Hidden Valley today, that would be a huge win for us. And again, particularly knowing that the confidence is there that we can repopulate. So thank you. I'll be around for the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good evening. I'll keep it brief for time, but I would like to, I'm Sean Cattle, I'm the incident commander for the LNU Lightning Complex and the incident commander for Team 2 that's assigned here. Just quick couple statistics for the fire, and then we'll get on to let people ask questions and so forth. So right now tonight, the whole entire complex is sitting at 369,935 acres. So I'll say that again, 369,935 acres. We are the second largest now again today, second largest fire in state history. We're 35% containment. Overall, the Hennessy fire, which is affecting Lake County, is 312,222 acres. And the other side, that's in the east zone. The west zone over in Sonoma County, the Walbridge fire is 55,353 acres. And the Myers fire, we have that 98% contained. We do have 2,670 personnel that are assigned to the incident now. We're feeling pretty good where we're at there. And as Chief Parks said, getting the resources in and putting together a plan that we're doing. We did have a little setback yesterday, but we have a good plan in place for that area to the north of Rumsey there. And that is a tough country, as we all know. Right now, the big thing is, as Chief Parks talked about, is a repopulation. We're moving forward, trying to get people back in our homes, still a priority, but we have to make sure that we're safe to do so. And there is a lot of folks and a lot of decisions that go into making that, to make that effective, to get people back in their homes. And we want to make sure that it's safe to do so with all the agencies involved. And with that, I'll do that, and I'll be on for the rest for any questions. But I'd like to, Sheriff Martin, I think if you may want to talk about some repopulations that we're trying to do tonight, if you have that information.
I do. Thank you, Chief Kavanaugh. And before we get going here, big thank you to your staff. You guys have been amazing during all these events this year and every other year. So thank you so much. And as Chief Kavanaugh said, there's a lot of moving parts in getting the decision to evacuate oftentimes is really quick and really easy. But the decision the ability to repopulate often takes a whole lot longer. It's never as fast as anybody wants. Everybody in Lake County knows that. It doesn't come nearly as quickly as we want it to. But your safety, the public safety, is our most important concern. So we've been very fortunate with this fire in the lack of actual structural damage. So there's, we don't have what we've dealt with in years past, where we had to go through and make sure that people's homes and neighborhoods were safe to go back in. A lot of this stayed up away from the populated areas, thanks to some good luck, some weather, and a lot of firefighting effort. With that, we're going to be importing some maps to display on our social media and our websites. Those will be available on our Facebook page and the Sheriff's website. And I want to announce some reductions of evacuation orders to evacuation warnings. There are still some orders in place, so please listen carefully and please refer to those maps before you go home if it's not very clear to you on whether or not you're going to be affected by these changes. So we're going to be reducing the evacuation orders to evacuation warnings for Hidden Valley, for Lower Lake out to the area of Sky High Ridge out Morgan Valley Road. The evacuation orders that are still in place along some areas of Middletown, and those evacuation warnings will remain unchanged at this time. There's still a lot of fire activity out there off of Butts Canyon Road that Chief Waters was talking about. So this is, I like delivering the good news. So we're able to get people back home. If you start heading home now, you should be meeting some open gates at about 7 p.m., if not sooner, at Hidden Valley Lake, areas of Lower Lake, out to Sky High Ridge Road. This decision was down to the wire. I mean, we monitored closely the fire activity, the weather, the firefighting efforts with our CAL FIRE incident management team, the ops guys. Charlie Blankenheim out there is doing I got to give him a shout out. He's doing a great job. But this does not mean that you are safe. Evacuation warnings are still in place for a reason. There's still wildfire activity. We want you to not let your guard down. We're not out of the woods yet. This obviously has the potential for picking up, or a new fire could start here or there. So don't let your guard down. Be careful. Continue to be careful. If you don't feel comfortable going home, if you feel more safe somewhere else, by all means do that. Again, a lot of moving parts. Thanks to all who cooperated. Be sure to check those maps. But again, one last time here, evacuation orders have been reduced to evacuation warnings for Hidden Valley Lake, areas of Lower Lake out to the area of Sky High Ridge off Morgan Valley Road, and the status of the Middletown area remains the same, with most of it remaining under evacuation warning and some small sections under order. Thank you, and I will turn it over to Q&A and back to Madam CAO to moderate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. That's probably the best news anyone has heard in more than a week. So again, downgrading the mandatory evacuation order for Hidden Valley Lake and the Morgan Valley area into evacuation warning. Just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. We may see a mass exodus from those that are viewing us right now. We'll see. Anyway, we continue to be happy to be here, and we're going to keep going. If you leave to return to home, you can watch this later on Facebook. We're going to jump in with questions, starting with the folks that have submitted a few questions on Facebook. And then after we do that, we'll open it up to some questions in Zoom. We may go back and forth a little bit. If you are in Zoom, it's time to raise your hand because we'll call on you shortly to ask your question. And then we'll also open up the room before we sign off for the night too, for anybody that is having trouble raising their hand or any issue with that. So jumping into the Facebook questions, Congressman Garamendi, still here? I'm looking for your face. Is he still with us?
There it is.
Thank you.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, thanks again. Earlier you talked about your prior role as insurance commissioner, and a question has come in from a constituent on Facebook. The question is this: what can be done at the state and federal levels to ensure that Lake County residents can get homeowners insurance despite all the disasters?
An excellent question and a severe problem, not only in Lake County, but really throughout the state of California, wherever you have the wildland urban interface, and for folks that are out there. A couple of things. There is a program that is available, guarantees insurance only for fire. No other insurance.
We're losing you a little bit there, Congressman.
Well, let's see if we can try to keep this going. The other thing, Mike, we need to work on is broadband, Cecilia. It's tough to be out in the boondocks. It's called the FAIR Plan, and it is available for every home. It is expensive, and it only covers fire. There's a little bit of personal property associated with it. That's the bottom line. The other thing is something that I think the insurance commissioner ought to do, and that is if you want to sell homeowners insurance in California, you've got to take up a piece of the risk. And that would be that, let's say you've got 20 different insurers operating in Lake County, but none of them want to be outside of the heart of the main communities. Say, no, guys, you're going to sell insurance in California. You're going to split the countryside up. You take 1/20th of the risk, wherever that might be. That's up to the insurance commissioner. Does have the power to force the companies to do that. I'm not sure there's any state law that's working right now beyond what I've already said. At the federal level, we've talked forever about catastrophic insurance. And basically, the catastrophic insurance program is what I know. I call it the Air Force One insurance policy. There's a disaster somewhere. The president shows up. Money falls out the back of the plane. Something that
Well, we got most of that, Congressman. You're breaking up again. So thank you.
I talk too much.
No, you're
I don't
good.
know if you can hear me now.
Breaking up.
Good.
We got most of it. Thank you so much. Congressman Mike, since there's a federal designation and FEMA is involved, the SBA has been involved. We've had them here a lot in past disasters. Will they be coming to help us?
Yes, SBA, the disaster declaration also triggers SBA. And you can get small business loans for business loans and nonprofit loans up to $2 million. And individuals can get loans of up to $40,000. And if anyone's interested in that, they can go to disasterloonassistance.sba.gov.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be having an SBA seminar in the very near future, and we'll make sure that everybody's notified about that. So they'll come on and be able to ask. People will be able to ask questions and get help that way.
Carol, if I might, Mike, you seem to have a better sound system than I do. The CARES Act and the PPP program and the small business emergency programs are also available, and they continue on. If they can't hear me, you may want to pick that up. But those programs are there.
We got it, John. Thank you. And we lost you again. So, Mr. Sheriff, I'm coming your way. Can you come back on video?
I'm here.
Thank you. People are asking a few clarifying questions about the evacuation orders, evacuation warnings. What is the status of Spruce Grove Road area in Lower Lake? Jerusalem Valley? Can you give us a specific update on those?
Those are going to be reduced to warning as well. I just checked the map, so give us a little bit of time. If you go look at the map right now, it still reflects that it's under order, so we're getting some clarification on that. But those are going to be reduced to evacuation warnings.
Okay. And then another question for you, Mr. Sheriff. Can nixles be sent to, for things happening in Lake County, be sent to everyone in Lake County?
We can. We're going to be having some discussions on how much we use Nixle. So those discussions are occurring.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The CAL FIRE team, are you folks still with us? So a constituent has written in by email to express concern about how CAL FIRE personnel are working day after day for weeks at a time without breaks, are near exhaustion. It appears that there are not enough firefighters for the task at hand. It is the law that the state of California that ex-convicts, even those who have completed years of training and experience on California wildfires, are excluded from gaining basic EMT certification necessary for obtaining career jobs. AB 1211 was initiated last year to remove the certificate barrier. AB 1211 would not have barred agencies from considering an applicant's criminal record. It would have ended that practice that prevents many former inmate firefighters from getting a chance to show that they are trustworthy. It was, according to this person anyway, that submitted this question, that was a pushback from firefighter associations, and it died in committee without a vote. If you cannot hire trained ex-convicts, what is your proposal for increasing the ranks of firefighters?
Well, to address some of the question, I'm not fully up to speed on some of the EV laws and how it relates, but as addressing additional firefighters, we know that we did have our surge hire that we did here back in July, that were given every unit out of our 21 CAL FIRE units. Every unit was directed to hire firefighters, up to 24 firefighters, additional firefighters, just for firefighter one hand crews. So every unit has a firefighter one hand crew. Most of those hand crews are been deployed even down in this area that we have. From my home unit up in the Shasta Training unit out of Reading, ours is down here down in the Bay as well on an incident. So that was one thing that took place. It's looking at do we have a shortage of hand crews, especially in our CDC corrections program? We do. There's no hiding that, and those facts are out there. There's different avenues of looking. We have the National Guard crews that we're using that we have in. One thing I would like to talk about with that as well is we do have 12 National Guard crews that we have that arrived yesterday. We have them over in Santa Rosa right now. We have all 12 of those on the Walbridge fire that we're using. Those are made up of 16 people per crew. So there's different avenues that we're looking at trying to fix what we can utilize for hand crews.
Thank you so much. Assembly member, are you able to speak any further to that assembly bill that was referenced in that last question?
It has been brought to all of our attention. We did some legislation on trying to make sure we could still tap into our our crews, the prison crews. Unfortunately, I believe the bill actually has died because we do want to rehire them. And so that bill didn't get out of committee. We know that the importance of having the hand crews online this year, we're short. And there's no way to hide that at all, is that we released a lot of our prisoners due to COVID. And some of those people would generally be on the crews. So that has come to the surface. It has been brought to the governor's horseshoe group, and they're all trying to figure out what they're going to do, because we do have a shortage of hand crews. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you so much. Superintendent Falkenberg, a question coming your way. There you are. So the question is about Middletown schools. Will they start Monday? And if that is unknown, is there a timeline for a decision to be made about that?
Carol, I don't believe that they will start Monday. I don't know exactly what that timeline will be. We are just now reaching the announcement that we're starting to repopulate those areas. And if I understand the sheriff's announcement, the area of Middletown is still actually under a warning. So while we may have opened up Hidden Valley Lake to a warning, we have not reduced the risks within the population or the area of Middletown. So my best answer would be to make sure you check their website, check their social media page. We will put out information as soon as that decision is made.
Thank you so much. So Chairman Simon, a question for you, if you could. How has the fire affected tribal communities? What can the county do to partner with tribes to reduce our risk of wildfire?
Very good question. We currently do, I think, partner together. Obviously, we need to build on our relationships as we're going through, but what we do is we partnership together as far as sheltering. At this point, I think that's one of the largest things that we do is coordination between our sheltering team from the county and also the tribal organizations. As we move forward, we have the Risk Reduction Authority and other agencies that will be reaching out to our tribal communities, and we'll continue down those paths. Coordination and collaboration is always the thing that really helps communities grow. It's a sign of it tonight, everyone, our state, federal agencies, and everyone on this call to help our community get through these situations. So just collaboration and communication with opportunities is always there. So
Thank you so much. So Jake, assuming you're listening, I'd like to move into Zoom and address some questions there. I'll hand it over to you to work with the people that have their hands up. I see one, there may be more. And once we work our way through those, let's unmute the room and let anybody else raise a question that would like to.
All right. Well, it looks like we do only have the one hand up right now. So the hand we have up here is from Jessica Paiska. Jessica, I'm sending you an unmute request. Looks like you're unmuted. Will you please confirm your first and last name?
Great, thank you. Yes, this is Jessica Paiska. My question is for OES. Is there a plan that we can develop the evacuation zone similar to Sonoma County so we can reduce some of the confusion when we do have to pull the plug on these evacuations?
Is that for county OES or state OES?
Jessica is on mute again. There she goes.
Well, Brian, I guess maybe you could answer that question if that's something in the works that you're considering right now.
Sure. So we do have the, if you're echoing, can you put you on mute? There you go. Okay. So what we do here locally is create shape files that are kind of consistent with our beat system in the county. I've also previewed a system that's coming out about, there's a grant opportunity that's come about, and it's very new. It's kind of in its infancy stage, called Zone Haven. They've implemented some of it down in San Mateo County, and we're going to be looking at something along those lines. They'll have a public-facing interface for the public to be able to look and see what we're doing. Again, I'm not making any promises that we're going to do that. I don't know a lot of details about it, but we're certainly exploring those opportunities. For now, what we've been doing in Lake County, like I say, is a lot of our evacuation zones kind of mirror what our beat boundaries are as far as the sheriff's office goes.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. And
Carol?
there are oh yes, go ahead, Assembly Member.
Hi, Carol. I just wanted to follow up on something. So they were asking about bringing the prisoners back. The bill had died, and it has come back, been resurrected, and it is sitting over on the Senate floor for the third reading. So there is a good chance that this can come back. So it's reintroduced, and it is AB 2147. And it allow a person who has successfully participated while incarcerated in the California Conservation Camp Program or in a county hand crew to petition for dismissal of their conviction. So that is sitting on the floor, and hopefully we can get some more firefighters. Just wanted to follow up with that because it had died and it's back. So that's even better news for me.
Great, thanks for that follow-up.
Carol,
Yes,
Carol?
sir. Go for it.
I was told that there is a pilot program down at the Ventura camp where they're hiring former convicts who worked on these convict crews and employing them with, I guess, the hopes of expanding that. And that came from a certain captain friend of mine, son of mine, who used to run convict crews and was up and had them up in Lake County the last time we had fires.
Fabulous, thank you. Okay, Jake, go ahead and unmute the Zoom room and we'll see if anybody else has anything. We have a few more questions in Facebook after that.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I have sent out an unmute request to everyone in the room. If you would like to make a comment, please unmute and start by stating your first and last name.
Do we have any fish counts that need to be washed? Because I'm gonna hopefully be able to do a quick run.
All right, hearing none, Jake, we'll go back to the remaining questions that we had in Facebook. And we have a couple local fire chiefs here in the Zoom room with us, Chief Ciancio, Chief Cepeda. A question for you, or you two, however you would like to field this. What additional challenges have there been for your agencies, your firemen, EMS crews as a result of COVID-19, and how are you managing all of that?
This is Chief Cepeda here. The majority of it is the retention and recruiting of personnel. That's our biggest challenges. We reached out to the community colleges, to the high schools, to different programs, to the fire programs, the EMT programs, paramedic programs. We do internships. Once we get them hired on and trained, they get their experience with us and they move on. So retention and recruiting is one of the biggest, and it has to do with really the amount that we can pay our staff to stay there. Some of the housing are issues and finding them places to live. It's ongoing. We coordinate with the Lake County Fire Chiefs. We have open and continuous openings throughout. And it's just an ongoing battle. I think we see it with the law enforcement side of the county as well. With the COVID, it even creates, more of a challenge. Just because the populations are dropping, getting into these types of careers.
Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate that. For the CAL FIRE team, can you come back into video for a moment? Thank you. Folks are asking, where can we find a map that includes the black line of containment?
We have a couple different message boards actually out in the communities we have. I know it's over in Middletown. There's stuff that's being put up as well over there daily around when you see those message board signs, we'll have those. You can also get onto the CAL FIRE webpage as well. We do updated maps and information releases on there on different avenues for if people have access to internet and so forth.
Thank you so much. I believe we are nearing the end of our questions, probably because everyone is happily headed home, or many people are. But what I would like to do is open it up to the room one more time. Jake, if you do another quick unmute and a call for questions, we'll give it a last call.
Sure thing. All right, I've sent another unmute request to everybody in the room. If you would like to make a comment, please unmute and state your first and last name.
Paul Duncan.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Great. I just want to say hi there. Just want to really thank everybody, especially the team and our local cooperators who stepped forward when we had this giant fire going on. We reached out to them for assistance. It was great seeing that help that came across the border and all the help that's come from out of state. So thank you to all of our elected officials who helped get those here. and all of our local agencies who really stepped up. And I just want to say thank you and happy to hear that our Hidden Valley community is getting repopulated. End of report.
Amen. Mr. Sheriff, can I pull you back from wherever you are? Here you.
I'm here, just
Thank you
muted
very
and cut
much.
my video off to save some bandwidth.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So it keeps coming up. The Facebook questions keep recycling. There are multiple people continuing to ask about Middletown status. Can you cover it again so people can be clear?
Absolutely. So the status for Middletown has not changed. The evacuation warnings that were in place remain in place. The evacuation orders that were in place remain in place. For clarification, if people want to go to our website and click on the GIS link that's right on the front page there, it'll give you up-to-date information. It should be, if it hasn't updated, it's scheduled to right at 7 p.m. But those warnings that have been put in are still in place. There's some small areas that are under evacuation order. As Chief Waters said earlier, the area behind the 7am ranch where the Hella base is, I know a lot of people haven't been able to go out there. They probably still won't be able to go out there because of the road closure. But there's still a lot of fire activity going on. And as the crow flies, that's not that far away from Middletown proper. So and until that fire activity subsides and they get really comfortable with it, we're going to leave everything in place as it is, keeping in mind that people's safety is of utmost importance.
Thanks for that clarification. And Crystal Marketan, I saw you come in. Crystal is our social services director here in Lake County and also our care and shelter lead. Crystal, we have a question for you. If you would give this one a shot. You're here, right?
Pardon? Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So some of our citizens evacuated with RVs and are unable to find places to park them. Are you aware of options for people to stay temporarily in RVs?
Yes, I'm aware that this has been brought to my attention, and right now I am working with Lake County Fairgrounds to complete a contract in order to secure some RV sites. And it right now it's at County Council, and it's also with the California Fair Board. So it may not actually be in place in time for this event, but my hope would be that we would have a contract in place for future, of course, I hope there aren't any future, but if there are future fires, that we would have something in place for that. I also am aware of the fact that Red Cross has been working with Big Valley Rancheria to talk to them about contracting for the use of their fairgrounds, and I actually do not know the status of that.
You don't have a good job, person. You don't know anything.
Thank you, Crystal. And so I just saw a question that came in through the chat in Zoom that I want to ask, and this is a question about roads. State Highway 29. I'm hoping you may be able to address this, Sheriff Martin. Is it okay to use Highway 29 from Santa Rosa to Lake County right now, or is that road closed?
I'm not aware of the status of Highway 29 in Napa or Sonoma County. So either check with those local counties or the Caltrans website. And this will come in handy for a lot of events. The Caltrans website has a feature on there where you just type in the highway number. It'll tell you any kind of road conditions for state highways that may be of an issue. It covers everything from road closures to slowdowns due to construction, one-lane traffic controls, and all those types of things. So great resource there. I know that Highway 29 is in Lake County is wide open, other than a little bit of construction that's going on in certain areas. But for other counties, I don't want to comment on what's going on in other counties.
This is Sean. 29 is open.
Thank you so much. And another question off of Facebook. I think some of our federal reps may still be here or their staff, although Congressman Thompson had to leave us. This one relates to COVID, but we're certainly juggling these things, both of these things at the same time. It's regarding the HEROES Act. Can you tell us the status of COVID-19 support legislation at the federal level? Is Mr. Bottoms here in Garamindi's office?
I'm not seeing any of them around still.
Okay, we'll do our best to answer that question through the county Facebook page. We'll try to push that out later. And so, Jake, I said we were going to do a last call in the Zoom room, and then we kind of flip back to Facebook. So I'm going to close out Facebook, and we'll do a real last call in the Zoom room, open it up one more time to make sure we haven't missed someone.
All right, sounds good. All right, I've sent out a unmute request to the room. If you would like to make a comment, please unmute and start by speaking your first and last name.
All right. Thank you very much for doing that, Jake. And thanks to the esteemed staff of Mike Thompson, I just got the answer to that last question texted to me regarding the HEROES Act. Here's the answer. The HEROES Act passed the Senate 107 days ago, and it is pending. It passed the House, and it is pending in the U.S. Senate. Sorry for mixing that up. So we'll see what happens. I understand that our air quality director is here, Doug Gearhart, and I wanted to just ask him if he'd like to share a moment about the status of our air in Lake County. We're all anxious to get outside and breathe some of it. So how's it going?
Okay, thank you for having me on. Air quality right now is actually getting a little bit worse. We're starting to see some smoke coming down and settling into the air basin. So hopefully as we get the west winds blowing in, I keep looking out the window to see if the winds are shifting yet. We'll start getting some more of the clearing and having more clear days. But as they get the LNU complex under control, we still have the forest, the August complex and the forest burning. So if we see any north wind, winds from the north, the northeast, out of the Sacramento Valley, we are going to be impacted significantly by the smoke from those fires as well. So don't assume that because this fire's out, there's no smoke coming. We will be seeing intermittent smoke continue probably through the next month or two, depending on how many fires and how quickly they can get some of these fires out that are large and in very remote areas. So.
Thank you, Doug. So I just want to do a check-in with any other member of our emergency operations team or any of our partners in disaster response. Any other member of the team have a quick announcement or that you'd like to make or a point you'd like to share? Okay. We're going to close it out with Lake County Board of Supervisors Chairman Moak Simon. So Moak, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Good evening, Lake County. First of all, I want to start with thanking all of our community members in just being diligent and patient as we move through this process. As we talked about, being evacuated for 9 and 10 days is just one thing we don't need at this time, but it is a reality of where we're at. I just want to thank each and every one of our responders, our first responders, CAL FIRE, all of our sheriff, OES teams, everybody that has been working. As soon as these fires started up, you could just see the dedication from all the county employees, community organizations, and everything coming together. We may not always agree in times of politics, but in times of disaster, this county comes together like no other. I couldn't be any prouder to serve with this team and just represent each and every one of the constituents in Lake County, especially in the southern areas. It just is, it's an honor. You know, when I ran for the Board of Supervisors, my goal was to make this place a better place when I was done serving. And it's really easy to do with the people that live here in this community and just contribute every day to being a Lake County, beautiful Lake County. So I'm not going to talk all night. Obviously, I'm going to thank each and every one of our state and federal partners. I'm going to thank Paul Duncan. I'm going to thank all those guys we've seen out on the lines. I'm going to thank all of our stakeholders that have been out there working from day one, just trying to make sure that our community is as safe as possible in these, unbelievable times. Not only dealing with COVID-19, which has just stretched us thin, but continues to be number one priority also. I'm just glad that folks are being able to go home tonight. As we work through this process and get this fire out, we'll work diligently to be prepared more and more every time this does happen. I would love to say it's not going to, but we've gotten better in each one of these cases. This is one of the most unbelievable places to live. Nothing will break our spirit or our drive to make Lake County a better place. And each and every day that you go out during these disasters, you see that in our community. So I want to thank everyone on the phone tonight or on the Zoom. I want to thank everyone who's come across the country to help support us. And as we work through this process, getting people home and getting this fire out, we'll continue on through this fire season. One thing I want to make everybody sure, be prepared. It's one of the messages that needs to go out all the time. We need to be prepared for the next incident so we can respond to it as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. Today is just another day in Lake County. It's building our family and our resources. And that's what I consider Lake County, my family. I ran to serve because that's what we should be doing to help each other in times of need. And the opportunity has just been shown with the light here. These are dark times, but there are going to be better ones. And tonight, I'm just glad folks are going to be able to lay in their own beds. And that is all because of the folks here at Lake County, our OES, our sheriff, all of his team, our county members, our public agencies, our volunteer organizations, our tribal organizations, and everything else. Kind of taking a breath right now, I guess is what you'd say. Even though the air isn't the best, tonight we relieve some of the pressure. And hopefully the folks in Lake County will continue to do what they always do, shine in times of disaster and keep moving forward. So thank you very much this evening. I don't want to end one thing. There's one clarification I do want to get, and I know Sheriff Martin talked about it. There was a question that came to me on text. When it says the Hidden Valley area, that does include the ranchos at this point. And if I'm saying that wrong, Brian, you can correct me, but I just want to make sure that that's clarified also. And that's really what I have to say tonight. Thank you very much for each and every one of you just being patient and being safe during these times. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you so much for your inspiring words, Chairman Simon. And before we go for the night, I also owe a big thanks to our technical crew that makes all this possible. Jake Renke and Sam Houston do an incredible job helping us push this out on Facebook and on Zoom. And we're so proud to have them on the team. So thanks, everybody. We'll get together and decide whether or not we should do this again soon, kind of depending on how things develop here in Lake County. If this continues to be needed, you'll see us again next week. Thank you so much.